Deafness is not something you can change. It's not something medicine can cure. It's not something that some people think you could pray it away, you know? It's there, and you have to make the best of it. My name is Aaron, and I'm from Harlem. Born and raised, um, I'm deaf. That's how I pretty much identify myself. Anybody would identify me as, like, hey, Aaron, the deaf kid. I was born deaf. Both my brother and I, we were born severe to profoundly deaf. It was actually very easy for me growing up in a household with a brother who was also deaf, because I felt like I had somebody I could relate to. And there were moments where only us who knew sign language, so we would talk crap about people, like what kids do. I think it was an amazing experience having somebody that close to me at home. It was just kind of the norm for me and my brother Adam. He can talk like me as well. The only difference between me and him is that he went to a deaf school his whole life. I was put into a hearing school at, I think, kindergarten. And from kindergarten and up, I had an interpreter in class with me. Being a deaf kid in school, I think I had about 4 or 5 other deaf kids with me, but it was not easy as a child. Kids are mean. Like they wouldn't play with us in like the park, for lunchtime. It was weird. It was like being the outcast, trying to socialize with hearing kids my age, and they just thought, deafness was not okay. Like they just kind of grouped us with the people who can't really do anything for themselves.
Where does that stem from?
It all stems from not being understood. I just feel a little humiliated, and just because I have had situations where people have laughed, and or people have just gave up on trying to understand me. With all the encounters that I've had regarding like ordering food or interacting with a server or an employee, it left a bad taste in my mouth. So I often just try to avoid doing the ordering. Typically when I'm alone, I usually point at the menu option, like, oh, can I have one of these? And because I've also had times where I've ordered food and they give me a total different dish. And I'm like, no, that's not what I said. But that's what they hear. Even then I find myself saying, oh, I'm sorry, I couldn't hear you. I'm deaf. And I'm like, wait, hold the up. Why am I apologizing for being deaf? Like, no, you're gonna take the time to like try to understand me, Like when I ordered my food right now, it was like she was a little impatient when I asked her what she said. I didn't hear her at first. What did she say? Like what was it? Like what kind of rice you want? Or no. It was more like what can I get? Like what can I get for you? Like I didn't understand her. So when I encounter people like that, it just like discourages me to even like communicate with them. That's why I started pointing.
What is your life like now? Like
as a deaf person, especially a deaf person in New York?
Yes. My life right now as a deaf person, a deaf adult, it is, I wouldn't say it's bad, but I do not feel like I am granted the same kind of opportunities, uh, whether it comes, career-wise. And I feel like I have been put into a box because I am deaf. I work for a deaf company, and it's not that I don't want to work for a deaf company, but I feel like that is the only place where I'm pretty much celebrated, and I don't think it's fair.
So do you think, when we talk about career, do you think experiences like the ones you just mentioned, does it put you in a position to almost want to deassociate yourself from being a part of the deaf community?
I mean, I've never ever felt like I needed to disassociate myself from that because that is who I am. I'm a deaf man. It's a very important part of my identity. There's stigma in the deaf community that sometimes I'm not deaf enough because I can hear a little bit. I have hearing aids. Or they'll tell me, no, you're hard of hearing. You're not deaf. You're hard of hearing because you can talk. But I identify as deaf because without my hearing aids, I can't hear a thing. Like I can take them off right now and I wouldn't even hear myself talking. If I want to go and hang out with hearing people, I have the issue. I have a problem where I can't follow along with everybody. With the deaf community, a lot of them are very welcoming, but there are bad apples where hey, they'll tell me like, oh, you're hearing minded, meaning I am able to talk. I am able to communicate more efficiently with hearing people. They also tell me that I can't sign well enough. And I work with a lot of deaf clients, and I've had clients tell me like, hey, like you're not deaf. Like, why are you working here? And I'm like, I'm deaf. I think we can do better with unity. Like, we're already a community that is deaf, and there's not a lot of us. And I think it's very important to unite and just try to grow together instead of putting others down.
What can we do better with and understanding you and your community?
I mean, the MTA could definitely use a lot of work on making trains more accessible. Not only to deaf people, but to handicapped people as well. There are times where they make announcements, like one time I was on the bus, and the bus driver had asked everybody to get off at a stop that wasn't even the last stop, and I was sitting there, and he actually got up and caught an attitude like, you have to get off, this is the last stop. And I was like, whoa, like I didn't hear that, So the kiosks are very helpful because they have information on there that they usually say it on the intercom, and deaf people can't hear that. So it'll be useful if we had that in every other station, not just key stations like Bedford and 42nd. Information is right there available for us to read instead of it being announced and me missing it.
For anybody watching this video right now, what is one thing that you want them to take away from you and your story and how it pertains to the deaf community?
I would want people to know that it's okay to like be different. I would hope that this inspires people like me, like myself. Like if this video comes across someone who's deaf and was once not comfortable with themselves, I hope it helps them become more comfortable. Because honestly, we only live once, and deafness is not something you can change. It's not something medicine can cure. It's not something that some people think you can pray it away. You know, it's there, and you have to make the best of it, and never let anyone, make you feel less than you are. Know your work.